Welcome to everyone, my name is Simon, and in this video we are going to see the advent of Europe to the India. In this unit you are going to learn the trade and the commercial relationship between the India had with the Europeans. The arrivals of European to the India for the trade. The Carnatic War in the drawback of the European politic development. The Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Buxar and the dual government system. The British policy of aggressions. There was a trade and a commercial relationship between the India and European since the ancient time. There was a great demand for the Indian spices like pepper, cardamom and ginger and many other spices in European. The trade relationship continued between the India and Europe and other Asia countries even during the Middle Age, and the Arab merchants carried the Asian merchandise into the Constantinople of the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire. The Italian merchant would buy these goods and then sell in Europe countries. Like in this, the Constantinople was the center of the international business and considered as a gate of European trades. While the Arab merchants had again a monopoly over the trades in Asian countries, the Italian traders had again a monopoly over the trades in the Europe. The merchandise from the Asia had brought a good profit to the Italian merchants. The fall of Constantinople. Let us see the fall of Constantinople. The trade and commercial between the Asian and Europe was taking place through the city of the Constantinople. In 1453, the Ottoman took capture the city of Constantinople. As a result, all trade routes were connecting to the city of the Constantinople comes under the control of Turk, and the Turks started the laying a too many taxes on the goods and passing through these routes. As a result, the merchant felt that the trade was not profitable now. Meanwhile, the Spain and the Portuguese were attempting to break the monopoly of the Italian traders. They have started encouraging their sailors to find a sea route to the India, and the invention of the compass, astronomer, and the gunpowder provided further inputs to this venture. A new sea route to the India. The Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese sailor who left the Lisbon and reached Campedu near the Calcutta on the east coast of India in 1498. By this, he was successful in discovering a new sea route to the India. This route continued to be the route of trade between the India and the European for many years. Like this, the Portuguese were the first to re-establish the trade between the India and the Europe. The Europe trade companies. Let's see. With the successful of the Portuguese and many Dutch, French and English arrived at the Indian for the trade. This development not only changes the history of India, it also changed the history of European countries also. The Portuguese. Now let's see about the Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first to arrive at India for the trade and were also the last to leave the India. And so, on the sea route, the Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as the viceroy of the Portuguese, and he implemented the blue water policy in the order to establish the supremacy over the sea instead of the supremacy over the land. Alfonso de Albuquerque, who comes after the Almeida, is considered as the real founder of the Portuguese Empire in India. He was waged a battle against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510 and won the Goa, and Goa became the administrative center of Portuguese. The administrative in India and the administration in India, the Portuguese has the absolute monopoly over the trade with India for almost a century, and there was the power to decline with the arrival of English and the French in India. Now let's see about the Dutch. Dutch are formed a Holland or a Netherlands. They established the United East India Company in 1602 with the aim of doing the business with the East India country and the entire country like India, the Java, the Sumatra and the Indonesia and the spices rich islands, and they established the warehouse in Surat, Bharuch, Tembe, Kochi and Nagapattam and the Musolipattam and the Chinosur and other places in India which they have broken the monopoly of the Portuguese in India, the latter unable to face the competition from the English and the French and Dutch to limited themselves to the spices and the rich islands. Now let's see about the English. In 1600, the December 31, the Queen Isabel issued the royal character authorized East India Company to the trade with the eastern country for the 15 years. The company started the business formally in 1613, and the Mughal Empire Jahangir issued the royal permission to the English to establish their first warehouse of the factory at Surat. In 1617, the Sir Thomas Roy arrived at the court of the Jahangir as the royal ambassador from the court of the James I. He sought a permission from the Jahangir to establish the factory in other places of Mughal Empire. The English established a factory in Agra, Ahmedabad and the Bharuch. In 1639, the English took the Madras from the King Chandagiri and established a strong fort and a name as a Sturge Fort. And later the Charles II and the Prince of the England gave the Bombay as the name of the annual rent of the 10 pounds a year to the East India Company in 1668, and in 1690 the English purchased the three villages, namely the Sultanate, Kalikata and the Govindapura on the bank of the Hooghly River and built a Fort William. The city of the Calcutta arrived this fort by the 17th century. The English and the establisher of the Bombay and the Madras and Calcutta as the center of their presidency. And by the later a part of the 18th century, the English made a Calcutta as the capital city, and they implemented their own civil and the criminal procedure, the code in area, and that were under their control, not Indian control. Now let's see about the French. The French established the company, started as a government and owned the company in 1664. It started with the first factory in Surat in the year 1668, and later they established its factory in Machilipattam and the Chandragarh and the Mahi, Karikalu and the Kosambar, Basur. In 1678, the French took the Valigadapuram and from the local Muslim officially developed it as a major trade center, and that the center in the Pondicherry or a Puducherry. The duplex who arrived in the Pondicherry as the Governor General of the French had a high ambition of establishing the French as a major power in the South India. This ambition led to the Carnatic War with the English, the competition between the English and the French. The Portuguese and the Dutch had a withdraw from the India, unable to withstand the competition from the French and English by the 18th century. Finally, the French and the English restored to the strength in order to establishing their political supremacy over the India. Meanwhile, the political and volatility across in the region of Hyderabad, the Carnatic, the East India of the part of the Tamil Nadu, and both the English and the French and tried to exploit the situation in their favor, and this led to the three Carnatic Wars. Let's see one by one. The first Carnatic War, 1746 to 1748. On the request of the duplex, a French military leader from the Mauritius invited the Madras to capture it, and this force helped the British to request the help of the Anwaruddin and the Nawab of the Carnatic War for the support, and the army sent Anwaruddin, and he failed to defeat the French at the Madras. Finally, La Baudelaire took the money from the English and returned to the Madras and went back to the Mauritius. And this encouraged the Dupleix and attempt to take the Madras, but finally he also failed. Finally, this war was ended with a treaty, the Europe between the France and the England, called the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Now let's see the Second Carnatic War, 1749 to 1754. In the change of the circumstance, the French made the Salabeh Jung, another son of the Afwaja, as the Nizam of Hyderabad. An officer named as Buxar was stationed in the Hyderabad for his protection from the French. In the Carnatic War, the Chansab was the Nawab with the help of French, and the Robert Clive of the East India Company attacked the Arcot, the capital city of Carnatic, and defeated the Chansab. The Chansab was impressed, and later he was killed. This was a war. In the place of the Chansab, the Englishman named the Muhammad Ali, the son of Anwaruddin, as the Nawab of Carnatic. The Second Carnatic War was ended with a Treaty of Pondicherry. A French recalled as Dupleix. This war was brought from Lahore to the English, while the French was suffered from a political setback. Now let's see the Third Carnatic War in 1756 to 1763. The Comte de Lally of the French attempted the base of the Vandishosh in 1760. In this decisive of the battle, Sir Ayer Court of the English army defeated the French and impressed the Bussili and escaped and hide from the Pondicherry. Finally, Ayer Court attacked the Pondicherry, and Lally had a surrender unconditionally in 1761. In 1761, the French had lost all their base India due to the Carnatic War. In the spite of this, as per the Treaty of the Paris in 1763, the Pondicherry was returned to the French. With this development of the French lost their importance in India. Like this, the English, by the defeating all their rivals, started the consolidating their power over the South India. The British rule in India. After giving up political control over the India, the British tried to gain a control over the rich Bengal and provision in the later part of 18th century. The provision had to achieve the tremendous growth in the area and the agriculture, the commercial and the industry. The East India Company was making a considerable profit from this provision, and the Dastur, the license issued by the Mughal ruler, the Farooq Sir, were the main reason for this. But these Dastur were limited to the company, and the transaction were the misuse by the individual officer of the company to took the result in this huge loss of the Bengal government. Hence, the all Nawab from the Murshid Ali Khan to the Murshid Wardi Khan were opposition such misuse. Later, this led to the confrontation between the Nawab and the company, and this resulted into the crucial war which characterized the decision of the course to the India history. And the Plassey and the Buxar were the two wars. The Battle of Plassey in 1757, the Aliwarddin Khan and the Nawab of Bengal died in 1756. His grandson Sirajuddin Daulat and came to this throne, and the Plassey battle took the place between the young Nawab of Sirajuddin Daulat and the British in 1757. The reason first was the misuse of the Dastur, the license. The Sirajuddin Daulat was furious, and that the Dastur, that Dastagat were the misused by the official of the company, incurring the loss to the government treasury. Second, the misleading of the fort. Without the permission, the British repaired the fort of the Calcutta and placed the cannons in them, and this further angered the Sirajuddin Daulat, and he ordered to remove the cannons from the court. British refused to do this and angry the Nawab future and the Nawab further. Third one, the Black Room, the tragedy. The Sirajuddin Daulah conquered the Fort William easily and they impressed some of the British, and he impressed nearly about 146 Englishmen in the small room. In this fort, 123 died. This called as the Black Room tragedy. This encouraged the Robert Clive to arrive the Bengal with a large army. The Robert Clive attacked the rich local and like the Malik Chand, Omi Chand, Jagat Seth and other towards him. He was successfully in the convincing the Mir Jafar, the military head of the Sirajuddin Daulah, to stay the neutral in the battle by the offering him the post of the Nawab of Bengal. And encouraged by all this development, the Robert Clive declared a war against the Sirajuddin Daulah. Everything went according to the plan of Robert Clive. The Sirajuddin Daulah, who tried to escape from the battlefield, was captured and afterward he was killed. Let's see the outcome of this. First, this war brought out of the immunity. This war was brought out of immorality, lack of the unit among the India and the greedy of the Indian businessmen. Second, the Mir Jafar became the Nawab of Bengal. Third, the company gained exclusive rights to do the business in the Bengal. The fourth, Mir Jafar had a pay a rupees 17 per note and a 17 lakh to the as relief to the Sirajuddin Daulah attack on the fort of the William. In a nutshell, the Mir Jafar became the continued to victim of the company and its employment. Even through this treasury went the bankrupt due to the greedy nature. The greediness of the company and its official never satisfied. The British projected Mir Jafar as an insufficient Nawab and brought his nephew Mir Qasim as the new Nawab. Let's see the Battle of Buxar in 1764. The Mir Qasim was the efficient administrator. In the beginning, he remained loyal to the company and he paid a 2 lakh pounds to the company and gave away a few places to it. Shortly, he declared himself as the independent king. After verifying the misuse of the zakat, he declared that the business is a duty and free in Bengal. As a result, the India competed against the British in all the spheres of the business. As a result, the British trader was suffered considerably, and this was enough for this British to oppose the Nawab, and they brought in Mir Jafar again and dethroned the Mir Qasim. As the Mir Qasim knew about this consciousness of the British, he went for a organized war against them, and he was supported by the Indian merchants and the artists. And the Mir Qasim entered into the agreement with the Mughal ruler Shah Alam II and the Nawab of Awadh Sirajuddin Daulah. The combined force of the Mir Qasim and faced the British and led by the Hector Munro. At the Buxar in 1764, the Mir Qasim got a defeat and ran away from the battlefield, and the Shah Alam II surrendered. The effort of this combined force to stop the British force failed to complete. Let's see the outcome of this war. The first, the Shah Alam II accorded to Diwangi rights over the Bengal to the British, and the second, the Shah Alam II gave away all rights over the Bengal to the British for an annual fee of the rupees 26 lakhs, and the third, the Nawab of Awadh had to give away the fine of the rupees 50 lakh for the weighing a war against the company, and the fourth, with the death of the Mir Jafar, the company paid a pension to his son and took over the administrative of the Bengal. The Buxar battle made a British as the real holder of the power, and the Bihar, the Bengal, Odisha, and the provinces, even the Awadh remained under the control. In 1765, the Robert Clive brought in a dual government as concept. As per this concept, the British had the right to collect the land tax, whereas the Nawab had a overpower over the administrative and issues like justice and other likes. Likely, this British was gained to the political and control over the India and protected their business interest. And this finishes the first advent of the Europe to the India. I hope that you have understand. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe this video.